What I remember was a huge white cloud enveloping us, but very gently. It wasn't in any way violent. It was very gentle. It enveloped us, and we were standing, and the next moment we were flat on our faces on the ground with the floor above that had come down to 30 centimeters above our floor. So there was about this much space between the two, and we were flat with our arms out to the sides, but we couldn't move. There was a Canadian policeman who had been in a container on the floor above, and when the floor came down, he was basically at our level, and it was him who pulled the first piece of prefab wall out, and all of a sudden we could move. What I didn't know was that two of ours in CVR and two in electoral had died on impact. They had been crushed with the fall of the floor.
Back up! Back up!
As we went into the parking lot, there was a first big aftershock. I think it was a 5.9. And as that shock came, we told everybody out to the street. Everybody out, don't stay here, because pieces of the building were falling down. The Canadian policeman who had pulled out the prefab to free us was actually hit by a piece of masonry in the aftershock and was killed on impact minutes after he had pulled us out.
I thought they had gone, all of them. There was no doubt in my mind. It was impossible to survive the collapsing of the HQ. And I knew who was on duty from the police commissioner's office and going all the way up to 4th floor, I was certain. And I knew that political affairs were on 5th and 6th floor.
The second shake came, and that's when I realized that it was an earthquake. From the neighborhood, I heard like one voice composed by thousands of voices. So there were thousands of people screaming at the same time. That time I realized that the Christopher, the HQ, wasn't there anymore.
Everybody was digging with their hands because we didn't have any tool. There was no tool at all. You can see people, you can hear them, and you're not able to help them. I mean, I saw a lot of people that were dead, injured that night, but it didn't get me as much as the people that I know that were dying. I was talking to this guy, the one particular guy, and I promised him that I wasn't going to leave until we get him out. Unfortunately, there was nothing anybody can do.
We were looking through the windows and trying to see. Really didn't have the sense of the situation. And then we landed. We landed here in Port-au-Prince.
Now to move the big balcony pieces, what is the next action that has to happen?
Everything was in disarray. Everything was still very confusing. Many of the colleagues who spent hours and hours under the rubble and who had just been rescued from the debris of many of these buildings were there. There was a lot of crying, a lot of tears, a lot of hugs, a lot of emotions, and the uncertainty of the names of the ones who had not been identified yet or rescued. Every hour, names of people that had been identified. And so it was a shock every time. It was really very emotional.